Hi, this is Allie. I'm coming here with a 5-day mobility workout that we have here. So do these one day at a time. You want to accumulate about 15 to 20 minutes when you're doing various mobility work or stretching work on your own. Make sure that you keep good posture while you're doing everything and that you keep a braced and neutral spine. So before getting any more into that, our first day is going to be focused on your postural muscles. So a lot of the issues that people come across with sitting at a desk, hunching over your computer all day, this will loosen up some of those muscles that tend to get really tight or are well ignored. So first one, using a lacrosse ball to work on your pec minors. And so I'm not actually going to show this, but I'll tell you a general idea. This is a baseball. You can use a baseball, tennis ball, golf ball, lacrosse ball, just varying textures and firmness. So with the pec minor, you want to take the ball and you would actually turn around and get really up close and personal with the wall. But what we want you to do is your pec minor runs like a really upper portion of your pec. It's a little bit harder for girls, guys. It's pretty easy, but you just want to work in the lacrosse ball into your pec minor here, using the pressure of the wall in your body to create that force on the pec minor. Next one will be, we're working on 2 different exercises to work on your thoracic spine. Both of these you'll use a foam roller. For the first one, your thoracic spine then is your upper spine. So for the first one, just with your arms crossed over your chest, you're just working on that upper spine, just small movements up and down the spine there. Especially if you find any spots of discomfort, sit on them for about 20 seconds and that'll relieve some of the pain, then you can move on. After that, you want to bring up your arms up above your head, locking out your elbows and doing the exact same movement. This incorporates your shoulders a little bit more versus just working on the spinal muscles. The last one for our posture is going to be kind of relocating but also mobilizing your first rib. So this is the only thing that you need your broomstick for, but stick a broomstick in the corner. In order to locate your first rib, it's between your trap and your collarbone. So your traps are your upper muscles here, they're pretty obvious. Traps here, collarbone here, and your first rib is just right above that. And so that's kind of the spot that we want to think about hitting while we're doing this. So what you're going to do is get down on your back, and we're going to put the end of the broomstick into that first rib. And from here, you're just going to almost lift your butt up just a little bit off the ground, so you're using the pressure from your feet and driving that broomstick into that first rib and kind of mobilizing within there to put that back where it belongs. So again, 2 minutes each side of all of those. And then, so that's your first day. Your second day, we're focusing on some muscles that are going to be necessary within your squat and tend to get really tight from just poor mobility in general. First one will be wall internal rotation, and I have on our sheet that you also can do partner distraction with this. That's only if you have a partner. If you have a partner, great. If you don't, you can still do the movement. You can still kind of do like half a movement. But anyways, what you're gonna do is lay down. I'll have my back to you, so I want to say first, lay down. You're gonna kind of get with a figure 4 stretch almost with one foot up on the wall, and you're just gonna bring whatever foot is like crossing the figure 4. You're gonna bring that knee in, just working on that internal rotation movement. So, like I said, 1 foot up on the wall. You're gonna have your second leg here, or your one leg crossed. And so here, just pulling in, and you should feel that on the back of your glute here, just working on that stretch. And then if you have a partner, when you get to this stretch point here, you want your partner to push directly down on your knee and hold that position for the 2 minutes. And that's really gonna emphasize the stretch on the back of your butt. Next one, pretty basic but really important, hip stretch. For this, we're going to get into a lunge position. You're just going to lean a little bit forward. You'll feel that a bit on your hip flexors on your back leg, but what we're focusing on is mobilizing and opening up the hip on your front leg. So what you're going to do, one hand on the ground, one hand on your foot. You want your foot to stay on the ground the entire time. You're just going to let your knee drop out, and you'll feel a really good stretch within your hips. So just opening here, kind of moving around, oscillating a little bit, and again, sit on that for 2 minutes. Once you're done with that, our couch stretch. This is a really good one to do at home, of course. I'm going to use my couch. It's a little bit deep, but you can do this on the wall as well. But couch stretch, you're gonna drive one knee back and get your toe up on the back of the couch here. So you're gonna drive this knee back, get that foot on the top of the couch. You're gonna really feel this in your hip flexor here. And to emphasize the stretch, bring this foot up and get even deeper into that stretch. That's what you can't do if you're just doing it on the wall. That's why the couch is good. But you'd just be able to do the same movement here if you put your foot up on the wall. Lastly, for our squats, we're going to foam roll our calves. Biggest thing with the calves is making sure that you work all sides of it, so the middle, the back, and the outside of the calf when you do it, and just moving in slow motions. Again, if you find a spot that's sensitive, sit on it for about 20 seconds, move along. So taking one foot off the ground, crossing it over so you get your full weight on your calf. You can even do these weighted if you have like a sandbag. You can put that on your leg to add more force to the foam roll. But from here, just slow movements. So all the way up, all the way down, and then working on the inside and the outside as well. So, and you can do that with a lacrosse ball too if you want a little bit more pressure on your calves. So, day 3, working on your front rack position. I know this is huge, especially in guys when you're learning to do a clean, not necessarily maybe like a front squat, but everybody's getting really into the Olympic movements right now, and a big part of that is having a decent front rack. And so these are some exercises that are going to stretch out some of those muscles that are potentially tight and help mobilize them and allow you to drive your elbows up when you're in that front rack position. So first one, using the lacrosse ball on the posterior delt. You're going to use the lacrosse ball on pretty much your armpit too, but it's just going to mobilize different portions of your shoulder. So your ball, get down on the ground. You just want to we're first going to get the ball just on the back of the shoulder. That's where your anterior delt is. So here, just placing the ball under here. And you can get your feet up a little bit to get some more pressure on there, but most importantly, you just want to move slowly through a range of motion with your elbow flex like this. So just here, moving through that range of motion, you'll really feel it on the back of your arm. So the next one with the overhead armpit that I was talking about, you're going to do about the same thing, or it's going to be in the same area, but you want to think about rolling into your armpit from about the top of your armpit just to the bottom of your armpit. So we're going to get on our side, arm overhead, and just from here, you're just going to move around on those muscles in the armpit. It's a very small area, but again, still taking 2 minutes to work on that. All right, so last one is just foam rolling the lats. This is also something that you can do on the wall. The lacrosse ball is kind of tricky if you have a larger ball. They sell some that are larger and firmer, like a lacrosse ball or a baseball, but it's just as easy to do it on a foam roller. Say the same thing, same basic ideas with the foam roller. You just want to make small movements, sit on any tight spots. We're just going to be on our side again, arm overhead, and your lats run virtually from the top of your rib cage to the bottom of your rib cage. So you want to get all the way to the bottom of your rib cage here. So same thing, just rolling. You want to get your butt off the ground the most force as you can on those lats, and full range through the lats, 2 minutes aside. All right, so day 4 and day 5 are a little bit more personal to what I do as per like issues with various runners, and so we're going to talk about the range of motion on day 4 and shin splits on our day 5. First, for range of motion on day 4, using the lacrosse ball on your glutes. Anything that's tight in the glutes or hamstrings is going to limit your full range of motion, getting your foot up and driving it through with your running range. So this is going to be kind of general glute area. You'll sit down on the ball and really just in the middle here, just working in the areas of your glutes. So just sitting on the ball here, and you really feel it. You just want to drive around in those glutes, make sure you're getting the side. I will do the upper portion in another exercise, but just rolling around within there, same ideas, sitting on spots that hurt, making sure that you're moving the whole time. Next one, I'll stay down here. Foam rolling your IT band. Your IT band runs on the outside of your leg, the origin being up on your hip and the insertion being down on your knee. So you want to think about getting through this full range of motion again. This is a good one that if you have more than 2 minutes, it's a pretty good area, and it's normally a very tight area. So on your side, starting at the origin, moving all the way down slowly to about where your kneecap is. So, next one being, we're going to work on our glutes again. This is what I was talking about, but you're going to have your feet elevated, and we're really going to target your upper glutes, so almost into your low back, but not rolling on the spine. So it's pretty far over here, not as far down as we were doing before though. So the upper portion of your glutes, you're going to sit on the ball again, but what's really going to get a lot of pressure in that area is getting your feet up on something about this height. You want to be at about a 90-degree angle with your knees when you do this. So again, just getting the ball under that upper portion, rolling around on it, same concepts that we've been talking about. So that's it for day 4. Day 5 is going to focus again on shin splints. So first one, lacrosse balling the medial shin. You want to sit down on the ground, get into almost a figure 4 here, and you're really just going to manually run the medial portion of your shins. So same idea as you would be doing if you were laying on the lacrosse ball or laying on the foam roller, small areas, slowly, really get a lot of pressure into those areas. For the outside of your shin, we're going to use the foam roller. You can use the lacrosse ball too. That's pretty intense. You're going to get into a pigeon pose, like on your foam roller here. So pigeon pose is here. So we're going to do the same thing up on the foam roller, moving on the outside of the shin, really rolling into it, putting as much pressure as you can, all the way down to your ankle and all the way back up to your knee. After that, a really good stretch for the shins that a lot of people don't know about is you want to sit on your feet. So you're going to sit right on your feet. You want your big toes to be touching, and you're just going to lean back until your knees just get a little bit off the floor, and you're really going to feel that a little bit more on the outside, but you'll really feel it on both the outside and the inside of your shins. Sit here again for about 2 minutes. And our last one, you're just going to roll out the bottom of your foot. Your posterior tibialis tendon inserts on the bottom of your foot, and that can be a big issue for some of those shin splint kind of pains. And so just sitting here and really focusing on the inner area here, but your whole foot in general, letting the toes really splay out and getting into some of that nitty-gritty of the bottom of your foot. And I did forget one on our day 4, so I just want to go over our seated hamstring roller really quick as our last one. You're going to sit on a chair, sit on a table, whatever's at a good height so you can still have your feet on the floor. I'm just going to roll out my hamstrings with the lacrosse ball on one side. I'm just going to sit here and kind of prop yourself up, but still get pressure on your hamstrings. Same thing, moving through, finding really tough spots, and especially when you find a tough spot, coming into full extension and then full flexion with your knee until you feel that kink out on your leg. So those are that is my 5-day mobility WOD. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.